Well, hello there, everyone. You're here to talk to you as with Big Bird right here, Big Bird and Alphabet Leaf Lock. As you see right here, as I went ahead and drawn his picture, say is Big Bird, and along with the leaf lock right here. And what you see right here is I went ahead and drawn right here is a leaf right here, talking about basically talking about the fact about if most of us here have ever used a lock, or whenever you were in like high school, middle school, or whatever, or maybe if you have a lock at home, such as for like a safe or anything like that. There's like a conventional personal locker or anything like that, but anything that contains you say the combination that numbers between say 135, and you got the markings right here along with the reading decimal right here, but you get the left and the right here, but basically talking about the lock right there. And so far with Alphabet Lock is basically if you were to buy a lock at the stores, then more likely that they would provide a lock combination for you, but maybe if you were to buy a used one, then more likely that the chances are that you don't have the combination, and that I don't know if you may have to call the company just to find out what the combination is, unless I don't know if you can maybe program your own lock on there, but for the most part, that which I'm sure that a lot of us younger kids here have heard us seen about so far as using a lock, is that if you were to if you were like in middle school or junior high or whatever classes, that a lot of times that they would assign you a locker, and a lot of times is that I remember whenever I was in school that they have it to where you would they would give you a locker, and it was kind of like this. They would give you a locker, and then they would give you the combination. And I remember a couple times I had complications with opening up the lock, opening up the locker, and one of them, of course, was the fact about that it was not entered right. That at first it starts out with that if you were to I think it's two full turns to the left, or whatever you say, to two. And sometimes some locks I guess have it to two full turns to the right. It's like say clockwise is two rotations to the right, and then the stop at 0, and then that would reset. You say that would reset the lock right there. So far as reset, and then I guess a lot of us, I'm sure, know what the set pretty much means, is that any errors or any mistakes that happen during the time that you were trying to unlock the lock, that more likely that it would clear, and then it would still, of course, it would reset, and you would enter the lock combination correctly, and then it would be able to open. And I remember that a lot of times whenever I was in school that I had complications with the lock, and of course by either turn it the wrong way or stopping at the wrong number, whichever it was. But I'm sure a lot of us here, whenever I was in school, that I used to, I remember the teachers a lot of times would have the keys to where there would be like a little a compartment in the back of the lock where they can just open it up with the key. And you just begin to wonder why the students had to use the combinations, and that the teachers got to use the key locks, to unlock the locks. But my best guess is it was due to the fact because of maybe because I guess you say they were the adults, and they get that the high tech stuff. I guess you say that they may have had iPhones and e-reader, tablets or whatever you call it before we did, before the students did. A lot of times it was the adults that would get those toys, and then you would get stuck. I remember whenever I was a kid that I used to always think that whenever I was in high school, that why is it that the teachers got the more comfortable and relaxing desk and chairs, but then the students had the hard bunks, and then along with the uncomfortable spots. Is that they give you work, but then they don't really give you a comfortable place to sit down. And a lot of times is that they have it to where with most students, that if a lock is too complicated to figure out, then more likely that they would probably say that it gives you something that's more simpler. But But then of course is that with the lock right here, is with the alphabet lock, is talking about with the different colors, you say, of the alphabet right here. Is if you were to get a lock and try to figure out the combination, that you could probably say use a leaf as an example, as say to put go ahead and work with the green here, but let's just say mark it for D, DF and G, H and I, and let's just say that each one of these corners right here would represent this, like whatever direction that you would want the leaf to turn. Let's just say if from the right to the left, it goes from the right and then to the left right here to make a certain design on the leaf. And a lot of times they could probably say that you do what you need to do to be able to memorize the locker combination, which I'm like over there where I work, I'm like they give you new ID number or whatever you call it, and it's like write it down on your shirt and you'll be able to remember it. And but more likely that I would probably say that maybe it's probably it would probably be kind of wrong thing to do to go ahead and just write down on your shirt, because more likely it may be harder to wash out later. But let's just say if you could make yourself like a little leaf right here, and of course draw it on paper, or if you wanted to have it offhand or whatever you say, so be creative with whatever that you can put your mind up to. But is to make a leaf, and is to kind of give it that certain color, whatever way that helps you memorize, so far as say that the locker combination. And I would probably say that nobody really has given any type of homework assignment so far as how the lock locks in place, or whatever you call it. Is that the letters of the alphabet, is that this side right here would equal B, or at the right side, the left side would equal B, or the right side would equal D, and the center would equal I. It's like I as an in, and then the O as an out, or something like that, or ow, or it could be something like U as in like you figure it out, or it's like T and E is like however way is like whichever one that locks and unlocks, so far as is how that the lock fastens. But of course, it's like you got the lock right there, and you could probably think of whatever you might please. Is that if you wanted to say on one of your shirts, is that maybe an old torn shirt, that if you wanted to maybe write a few short sims for the locker combination. And I remember that my locker combination, if I remember right, was right 12, and then that left 4 is like one full turn and stop at 4, and right 22, which I would probably say that would probably equal to right, and then stop at 12, and then turn left and stop at 4, and then go right and then stop at 22. And a lot of times and with most of us here, we'll probably say that with the lock right here, as you see with the numbers, that a lot of times that they have those points. It's like you see the dashes, which the way I drew it on paper was basically showing about the different designs that maybe they would have for a lock. But with the different designs, and more likely I'm thinking that maybe in the next maybe 4 or 5 years from now, they may have it to where more secure, to where they have it to where it may require more than just a combination. It's going to require a color. That if you put a color strip in the center, and then it would unlock for you. But so far with a lot of toys with home and with home security that don't really require a combination, but more likely a word in